putting yourself out there on a first date, a few factors must be considered. After all, you must know what to do if you and your date are out to dinner and the kitchen catches fire, right? This video will cover 10 things to do before going on a date. Knowing these 10 pointers will help you get a fair opportunity to win your date over and vice versa. After all, you don't want to blow right by Mr. Right or Mrs. Right because you came to pick your date up too late and they made other plans, correct? Watch this entire video to get yourself prepared for your date. So let's dive right in. Number 10. Select an excellent location. It is up to you to set the tone for your date by choosing a location. If you don't know what your date's interests are, go someplace quiet and neutral so you can both relax and focus on learning more about each other. You wouldn't spend your time and money on a romantic dinner if you knew the two of you didn't click and that the date was doomed before the food was served. If this trend continues, you'll be eating alone for the rest of the meal. What about the word uncomfortable? Why not try a new local coffee shop or bar instead of going to the movies or dining out? Because no one is trying to impress someone or spend a lot of money. It's simple to start up a discussion here. If you're still uneasy after one drink, it's okay to leave. If you two click, the date might go as long as you both wish. Extroverts' brains thrive in such a fast-paced environment, thus they are more likely to feel at ease, while introverts who prefer quieter environments are not overwhelmed. Number 9. Ask about food allergies when selecting your location. Lots of people have food allergies, and food allergies themselves can vary widely. For instance, what if you have a shellfish allergy and they suggest a seafood-only restaurant? Instead, maybe ask if your date has never been to a restaurant they'd want to try. That's a polite way to simultaneously explain, deflect, and charm them in this situation. Even if you don't have any food allergies, you should conduct some research on the restaurant you're going to. That way, you won't have to choose between two meals you dislike. Number 8. Know your date's name. We get it, you guys. You've had numerous beau discussions in this day and age of Tinder and other dating apps. You must first know the person's name before going on a date with them. If you can't remember the name, attempt to associate it with anything else. For example, Mike sounds like a spike. Try this simple method if you're worried about forgetting your date's name. Memorize it and rhyme it to something. It may assist in preventing uncomfortable dinner table silences. Number 7. Initial payment on the first date. Times have changed. Woman, when you were a small girl, you undoubtedly fantasized about going on a first date with the guy from your favorite fairy tale, where he would take you out and pay for everything. However, some males do not participate, and rightfully so. So, if he suggests splitting the cost, you'll be prepared with cash. Consider how terrified you'd be if the bill came and he insisted on separate checks while you were broke. Mortifying. If you made it a practice to always be prepared, you may be able to avoid a social impasse like this one. And guys, know that most women nowadays are fine with splitting the check, so don't overburden yourself when trying to get to know somebody. Number 6. Prepare to be on time. I think this to be self-evident. No one loves being on time when their date is late. The easiest way to avoid wasting your date's time on the first date is to be on time. Check to see whether the previously scheduled meeting time is still available. Then compare it to the time you have today to complete the tasks necessary to meet with them. Woman, avoid the rule that since this is the first date, you should have him wait for you for at least 30 minutes. This is really impolite and may cause him to resent you if something happens. So the most polite thing to do is to call, even if you might be only 5 minutes late. Otherwise, don't be late. First dates are like job interviews, and being on time tells the other party a lot about how seriously you feel about them. For obvious reasons, being late reduces your chances of them enjoying your company. Number 5. Get ready for a rich dialogue. The most nerve-wracking component of a first date for someone who is timid or socially anxious is chatting with someone you've never met before. Fortunately, psychologists have developed unique methods to engage with possible partners. According to studies, it's better to avoid cheesy pickup lines on a date, especially with a woman, and instead, talk about something more intriguing. Women were less tolerant of men's clumsy attempts at comedy and empty compliments. Dates are less essential to them than the opportunity to show off their own sense of humor, intellect, and innovative interests. Here are 3 first date suggestions for conversation. Who would you bring to dinner if you could invite anybody from any country? Please tell me about the most significant event in your life. Please give me a glimpse of your best day. The preceding sentences are just examples. Please alter them to fit your own words. It is critical to be able to reciprocate the favor in any conversation, but especially while aiming to wow someone. After hearing someone else's experience or query, always add your own to the conversation. It is courteous and maintains the dialogue on a level playing field. Number 4. Clear your mind. Before going on a date, getting your head in the game is vital. Although chemistry, compatibility, and attraction cannot be forced, being mentally and emotionally prepared may help. Going on a date with a bad attitude, such as feeling useless or miserable, may ruin the whole encounter. No amount of compassion or display of love from another person will ever convince us to believe in ourselves. As a consequence, practicing self-compassion on the days before a date is critical. I won't blame you if the idea of self-compassion made you uncomfortable. It's much easier to say than it is to do. Typically, it does not seem to be worth the time and effort. Still, regardless of that, self-compassion is a time-tested method for increasing one's own well-being. Number 3. Prepare for the first impression. Before, during, and after a date, it's vital to understand how to maintain control of your look, and by implication, how others see you. The before stage is critical when it comes to online dating for the first time. Learn what others think of you both within and outside of the office by soliciting feedback and researching into the why behind any negative statements made about you. What evidence do you have that this is the case? How close, if at all, do you suppose that interpretation is to your intended meaning? Is this character a true representation of who you are and what you believe in? You must understand what you're putting out there, whether it's the words you use to identify yourself online, the photographs you publish, or the way you dress. Can you really say you're the greatest version of yourself? Number 2. Study up on body language. What you say and do on a date affects the overall impression you make. However, your nonverbal communication, body language, and facial expressions may be the most accurate depiction of your true feelings. It's a lot to process, and I realize how frightening it may be. How can you be conscious of your body language while yet seeming natural? To do so, you only need to be aware of and make little changes to regular negative body language. Here are some nonverbal indicators to let your date know you want to keep talking to them. If you want your date to know you're paying attention, avoid crossing your arms over your chest. Maintain a forward-facing stance and focus on them. Lean into it to make it work. Look for evidence that your date is interested in the subject to gauge how much he or she is. You should usually shift the subject if they cross their arms or move their feet away from you. It is not enough to communicate your interest in someone. Your body language must also reflect this. Put your best foot forward and let your body do the talking if you want to project a positive image. The following are 3 body language indicators that suggest interest. Mirroring. Mirroring someone is mimicking their activities without being exactly the same. The Netherlands Behavioral Science Institute revealed that our desire to copy others evolved in tandem with our attraction to them. Respond in kind when they smile or wiggle. If you have trouble expressing yourself verbally, mirroring your date's behaviors is a great way to show your interest. Fronting. This pause should be used while facing your date from head to toe. Scientific studies show that we instinctively regulate our activities with our toes without even realizing it. As a result, if your date pays constant attention to you and maintains eye contact with you throughout the evening, this is a good sign. They may appear to be having a good time, but if they have one foot out the door all the time, they are missing out. Leaning. When a date leans toward you, whether against a bar or across a table, it's a sure sign of attraction. It is also possible to make the opposite case. If someone is uncomfortable in your presence, they may recline in their chair or physically withdraw from you. Number 1. Keep your expectations in check. This point is for you if you've seen many Disney movies. In romantic comedies, scenes of love at first sight are common. It has nothing to do with dating profiles, in fact. Don't think that focusing your attention on his eyes will stop the clock. It's fine if this never happens. Genuine love takes time to develop. Don't expect a single date to reveal whether you found the one with whom you'll spend the rest of your life with. Assume for a moment that you truly fell in love at first sight. Great. If you don't, that's fine. It doesn't mean you won't fall in love with the other person eventually. Having said that, you should not feel rushed by your date. Before going on a date, a person should know the 10 facts above. Can you picture yourself on a date with your crush right now? If so, use positive imagery and the pointers we covered to help you better gauge your first date experience. These pointers should help you assess if it's worth a second date and give your date a fighting chance to impress you, and vice versa. So there you have it. These ideas should help you prepare well for your date, giving you a fair chance to get to know each other. If it doesn't work out, then there should be no hard feelings, especially if you've been respectful. At least, you'll probably make a friend. But if it goes well, you'll undoubtedly be glad you watched this video. Have you ever used any of these tactics on a first date? And how did they work? Do you have any tactics you'd like to add to the list? If so, please leave us a comment. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and like our channel for more exciting suggestions. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in the following video.